If you're a strength coach or gym owner, you're not gonna wanna miss this video. What's going on, guys? Thanks for checking in. Listen, if you've been following my channel for a while now, this is gonna be a lot different topic. We're gonna go over more of the business side of things rather than, training elite level athletes. So, may not be that interested to you unless you want to own a gym someday, or you do own a gym, or you want to be a strength and conditioning coach. So let's dive into it. Today is January 1st, 2025. Happy New Year. Last year, during the new year, I had a lot of goals pertaining to my business. I always wanted to grow that and make sure our systems and processes were in place to, maximize things going into the new year. To do that, I started following 10 different individuals, which really helped me achieve my goals, right? I look back on the business last year and I really achieved everything I could. The business legit doubled in 1 year just by implementing some of these things that these 10 guys have taught me. So today, I'm gonna share with you who I closely followed, and if you're trying to do what I'm doing, you should follow too to have success if you implement truly what they're talking about. So if you're looking to grow your business, strength and conditioning business, gym, whatever it may be, a must follow, in my opinion, and a guy that's really helped me out is Alex Hormozi. The guy's grinding out videos literally every single day on just all business topics, how to grow business. And he's giving this information out for free on his YouTube channel, where, most of these entrepreneur gurus, whatever it may be, will charge you, $5 grand for a course. He's literally laying out everything you should do and everything that he did to make him, $100 millionaire, whatever it may be. So this is a guy you really got to follow. And what he taught me is more systems that you need to integrate, right? He brought up this one software that we use in the gym here. It's a Glow Fox, or you can get any software to where guys can go in and easily schedule classes and you can keep track of all this. Before, I wasn't operating on that. It was kind of like, hey, I'll put their card on file to charge monthly. They can come in whenever they want. But that process literally quadrupled our business because we knew what athletes were coming at certain times, and it was auto reoccurring, and we could see, how often those kids were booking, what times they were coming. So it brought our membership, cap to 50 all the way up to almost 100, so we could fit more with the same good quality training in the gym. So that's one real takeaway I got from him, is in business, you really have to have systems and processes. Must follow, Alex Hormozi. The second guy I believe is a must follow is Jocko. So basically what Jocko has taught me is you have to stay consistent, and his biggest quote, right? Discipline equals freedom. But what I really took from him is the early bird gets the worm, basically. If you wake up before everybody else, you're setting yourself up for success. I wake up now literally at 3:30 a.m. I get to the gym at 4, and that gives me almost a 3-4 hour window before anybody calls me, steps into the gym, where I can just sit down and grind out work. Giving the ability to wake up that early without any outside distractions every day consistently literally has been a cheat code for my productivity, throughout the year last year. So just that simple tip, Jocko has all this good mindset stuff, trying to be, if you want to be a better leader, all of this, but that waking up early has really been the thing that I've taken from Jocko last year that gave me a lot of success. Coming at number 3 is Simon Squibb, preferably his YouTube channel. So what this guy does is he sits down all these billionaires basically, and they just have an organic conversation in front of a whiteboard. So you get some real high contenders you may not know of that are secretly millionaires and billionaires, and they go through, their own personal story and how they've accomplished so much. And one thing from that I've taken from, this guy's YouTube channel is all of these high achievers, these wealthy individuals with successful businesses, really the one trait that they have is speed at which they get shit done. So when they want to get something done or they want to implement it, it's done the next day, okay? An example in my, facility here this year is our physical therapist we have in-house. There was a time period where it was like she was searching for other, facilities, just like what's best fit for her, whatever it may be. And I didn't have a room set up for her yet. So like when she was coming in working on athletes, it was kind of like, hey, she doesn't have her own room. She doesn't have her own office. So like when I would talk to her about coming full time, she really didn't have a nice spot to do it. So I literally came up with an idea one day. It's like, hey, before I even ask her to move in permanently, I'm just gonna build her an office, put AC in it, figure it out. So like literally that weekend, I just built her an office. It took all hours of the day for that entire weekend, but I got it done basically in one weekend. She shows up next Monday. It's like, holy cow, now I have it. So it's like making a decision to do something and doing it is the reason why she came here and not somewhere else. And she's been a massive part of our business, helping all these professional athletes out. And it's literally been a godsend, all because I saw something, I decided on it and just pulled the trigger instantly. So that Simon Squibb's YouTube channel, you're gonna learn like what all these billionaires have in common, what all these multimillionaires have in common. And that's just something I happen to apply and I reap the benefits of it. Coming in at number 4, listen, these are in no particular order because if they were, this guy'd probably be number 1, and it's a consistent. And all my years since I opened up, this guy really has like believed in me, and we have a personal relationship, and he's been in my corner, and that's Phil Daru. I looked at him basically as a role model before I started. He's been doing his MMA stuff, the business side of things, training, specializing in MMA training. And I basically tried to like copy what he did on the baseball level. And he saw that, reached out, and we started more of a personal relationship. So like his content on Instagram, on YouTube is unbelievably valuable for, building high performance athlete. And recently, he's been really pushing his mentorship course and all of that to where he goes in on how to build a business, how to build a successful business, niching down, whether you're focusing on MMA fighters, whether you're focusing on business or baseball, whether you're focusing on football. Like he's a very good guy to follow to like maximize a market when it comes to the business side. But on a personal level, he's helped me out so much. And that is something from him that I've taken this year. The biggest thing, I've taken a lot of things from him, but it's rather than, trying to go outside and like search, like I'm a baseball facility, rather than go outside and like try to be a football facility, soccer facility, all of this. It's just having that ability to niche down and like figure out how to dominate your market. That is a dangerous cheat code because let's be honest, like the baseball softball market, multi-billion-dollar industry. There's no reason for me to switch and try to chase these other things. So that gave me confidence is to just narrow down, niche down, and get after it. Coming in at number 5 is an absolute legend, Mark Bell. I follow his podcast, I follow his YouTube channel, everything. He's been in the industry forever. Like I said, an absolute legend, okay? He's been on record boards for all his powerlifting accomplishments. He's famous for trimming down, getting absolutely shredded. He made the slingshot bands, comes out with all these different inventions, and is literally like a maverick in this industry. And he came out of the whole West Side, Louis Simmons era and created a really successful career for himself and built some really incredible businesses. But what I've taken from him, and this is a guy you definitely need to follow, is a lot of times I'll go down a rabbit hole previous on like, hey, my way, I'm confident in my way. I'm not gonna, let any outside things affect the way I think. What Mark Bell does is he has all these different, people on his podcast with all these different viewpoints, on training, on business, on life, and he just has a real conversation with them and just tries to see their viewpoint. So he doesn't agree with a lot of these guys, but he'll have them on to kind of see where they're coming from. So hearing these guys talk, right, that you see online doing all this weird looking stuff, having them talk on his podcast, you can really sift through who's like, oh, this guy's just BSing, or hey, this guy actually has merit to what he's saying. So it's kind of opened my mind a little bit into accepting some new ideas or new philosophies into how I do things. So Mark Bell's a really good guy you got to follow. Coming in at number 6, a guy that's massively influenced me, just following him, don't know him on a personal relationship, but I'd like to hopefully this year, is Joe DeFranco. Guy's an absolute legend, been in the trenches, grinding out training, you know, for 30 plus years. He's recently been posting a lot of like growing your business type of things on Instagram and YouTube, and he's a guy you really got to follow because he has real world experience. He's had success building his training business just by grinding for years in the trenches. So this is a guy that has done it himself and is telling others how to do it, and those are the people you got to look out for. One thing I've taken from him this year is we've had opportunities to expand this place, Summers Method Performance, to like a lot bigger warehouses. But what Joe DeFranco talks about is like, hey, just maximize kind of the space you have, especially like if your rent and overhead is pretty good, because a lot of times any problems you have in your small space, they just get way bigger when you go to a bigger spot. So everybody, right, what's the dream? Start a gym, expand, expand, expand. But you need to maximize with what you have first before you expand, because those problems aren't just gonna go away with expansion, they're just gonna go, you know, and become bigger issues. So that's something I've taken from him. I've had an opportunity to go bigger, but stepped back, because now this year, hey, we're just gonna try to, you know, keep solidifying and keep dialing in this spot before, you know, we make that move or make that jump to a bigger spot. So Joe DeFranco is a must follow if you're a strength coach or a business owner. Coming at number 7 is Bobby Stroupe. Guy's been grinding for years training with athletes, but one of his biggest name athletes and kind of what he's known for this day and age is Pat Mahomes. He's been training him since he was very young, you know, helped him guide him into the player he is now. And on his page, right, and on YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be, he's like showing his processes on how he gets these guys to the next level. His unconventional training tactics allow me to expand my mind and become creative and have confidence, you know, in myself as a strength coach that, hey, what I'm doing with these guys is going to actually transfer over to the field. It doesn't keep me, you know, in narrow vision with my blinders up doing the same old, helps me push the envelope a lot more and, you know, really experiment to see, you know, what's working and what's not. So overall, just being more creative, and that has really helped our business last year. Coming at number 8 is Chris Williamson, particularly his podcast. He's got some unbelievable guests on this podcast, absolute killers in the entrepreneur space, but specifically the strength and conditioning space, building business in, you know, fitness, whatever it may be. But what he does is he goes more in on, you know, the mindset that these elites have that allow them to get to where he wants to be. So not necessarily, you know, like diving deep in on business systems and processes, right? More on like, okay, to be a successful entrepreneur in this space, what's your mindset like? And the biggest thing that I've learned from him and his guests are you just got to outlast the shitstorm. So like what that means is, sure, you go through failures, sure, you can do something for thousands of hours without reaping a reward, but you just got to keep doing it, you know, eventually hoping that it's going to pay off. And one thing that, you know, in this last year that I did and implemented was with the YouTube channel. If you guys have been following me for a long time, you know, like, hey, this is a grind. Like, we've been doing this every week for the last 4 years and only at, you know, 40-something thousand subscribers. So rather than just giving up and not being where, you know, people I idolize are at, you know, the 100,000, whatever, you just got to realize, hey, you just got to keep putting in the work and realize someday that this is going to pay off. And it does, right? It leads to program sales. It leads to people, you know, knowing about Summers Method, and it adds value to thousands of players, you know, throughout the country. But Is it to where I want to be, you know, subscriber wise? No, but I know if we keep hammering down and refuse to give up that it's going to get there. So just having that ability, knowing that all these elites go through a period of just outlasting the shitstorm, there's no such thing as an overnight success. Like, your overnight success has been grinding in the trenches for 10 years. That's the stuff you don't see. I'm in that time period with this particular thing, the YouTube channel, that you're not gonna see when I hit 1 million subscribers someday. So that's something that drives me, fuels me, understand that, hey, all these elite guys, these $100 million, billion-dollar people, entrepreneurs, went through a period of just outlasting the shitstorm. Coming in at number 9, and like I said, this is in no particular order whatsoever, because if it was, this guy, to be honest, is like one of my favorite follows online, just because how black and white he is. And what I've learned from him, right, is basically stop being a bitch and just get stuff done. Plain and simple. It's cut and dry. Like, you're either a doer or you're not. Like, stop being a little. He has multiple successful businesses. He's got success in a clothing line. He was a singer before. He's got a ranch out in Montana. He's had auto shops. And recently he just started this group. I have it up on my phone here. It's Clear, Calculated, and Vicious. This is one of his pages, and you can't subscribe to his thing. I don't. I just follow his free stuff because it's super good. And he just goes through like how to deal with like bullshit. It's super inspiring, like hearing this guy's perspective on things. I know I mentioned Jocko on this. One of Jocko's thing is extreme ownership, but like Rob Bailey like really plays into that. Like, no matter what happens, it really is your fault because you allow it to happen. So like, say somebody's not living up to your expectations, right? Like, you can say, hey, this is your fault, or hey, it's actually my fault for hiring you, giving you an opportunity in the first place, or not leading you in a proper way to get stuff done. So it does always fall back on you, you know, as the owner, entrepreneur, you know, trying to start your business. It doesn't do any good trying to blame other people for your pitfalls. It really doesn't. It never works out. And that's something I've taken, you know, last year, is realizing that, hey, like, at the end of the day, like, I am in charge, and why stuff happens is because of me, like if something bad happens. But the good news is I do have the ability to change that, right, for the better, and make the business more successful. So that black and white, no gray area, stop being a bitch, get it done, is what you're gonna learn from, you know, Clear, Calculated, and Vicious, Rob Bailey. Definitely need to follow him. Coming in at number 10 is Nick Bare. Must follow if you're an entrepreneur. He owns Bare Performance Nutrition. It's like a $100 million supplement line, and he niched down right now into like the high performance athlete side of things. But his YouTube channel, Instagram, and everything is all revolved around basically, yes, him training for like competition and stuff, but also a lot of the business side and business tidbits that you can pick up on and implement. And like, one of the biggest things that I've picked up from him is this guy will like have absolutely absurd dreams and aspirations, and then I'll check his YouTube channel months time and he's achieved everything he says he's going to. So it's like having that ability to dream super, super, super big, and like being 100% confident like you can achieve it. I get it, man. You know, you see stuff online, I post some things, people just, you know, this is BS, you know, everybody not being in your corner all the time, all the negativity. There's people that want to see you fail. You know, it's just kind of human nature. So you're gonna have a lot of people that bring you down and not believe in you and like try to guide you in a different path. And it can be out of straight, hey, they care about you. They don't wanna see you go down like a weird path that's gonna set you up for failure. But you gotta realize and stop taking advice from people that really aren't where you wanna be. Why, you know, in a business am I gonna take advice from my uncle who never had a business, right, and who's worked for somebody and is like miserable all the time? That's a guy I'm not going to take business from. I'm not going to take business advice from a guy that's failed in business. It's just kind of who it is. Kind of like you're not going to take hitting advice from a soccer coach. Be careful who you listen to, and like dream super, super big, because like, hey, it really is only one life, so what are you going to do with it? This guy showed me time and time again that you can dream about something no matter how big, and you can achieve it. And pretty much a year's time. It's insane what this guy does. So make sure you go ahead and follow Nick Bear. All right, so there's the 10 people that massively influenced me just by following them online. Never talked to a lot of these people on a personal relationship other than Daru, but these are guys that I'm just secretly watching, secretly studying, and trying to implement what they teach into my own business. Be honest with you, like I told you at the beginning of this video, I had goals of growing the company. We achieved that. We 2x a company in 1 year just by implementing a lot of the things that, you know, these people had said. So if you're a strength coach, if you're a business owner, or in the future you want to do something like this, following these types of guys here, okay, are really going to cut down, you know, on your learning curve, right? You can learn from their mistakes and start implementing them right away, because I know they're not BS. I have nothing to gain from making a video like this. Like I said, I don't talk to, you know, any of these guys other than Daru. You hit their links, you subscribe, I'm not getting any of it. These are just straight people I really do believe in, and I follow and implement into my business. So like I said, there's the 10. Hopefully you liked, you know, this type of video, more of the business side of things. To be honest with you, in the past, I get guys DMing me all the time asking for business advice and everything like that. But me, in my situation where I'm at in my career, it's like I really feel like I don't have much to give other people because I'm still experimenting. I'm still trying things out. I don't know a secret formula. All I'm doing is implementing, you know, kind of what I'm told, what I'm seeing. A lot of stuff fails, to be honest with you. But with those 10 people, those are what is right. So I don't think I'm there yet as far as like, hey, a business coach. Do I have a really successful business? Yes. So this year, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to build on that, keep honing in our systems and processes. You know, I always wanna, you know, try to solidify a spot for Summers Method. You know, like, let's be honest, I'm renting the building I'm in now. The goal is to have land, build something on it, and, you know, have where ball players everywhere can come that I own, like a compound. That is kind of the goal for Summers Method. Doesn't have to be crazy big, but I definitely want to own my own spot. And other goals are just growing the online, the YouTube thing. I'm really trying to hone in and figure that out, give you guys as much value as possible. We work with some really elite ball players. I build systems for, you know, some of the best players on the planet, so showcasing that more, getting more people subscribed to our programs online. Guys are seeing a lot of benefits from them, so I feel like I'm doing baseball players a disservice if they're not on our online programs, because I spend so much time into them and I know their work. So keep, you know, honing in on the business. We got a really good team going into this year that I'm very excited about. So just, you know, making sure everybody's on the same page. And I think a year from now, I'm gonna be sitting down talking to you, and it's gonna be all positive like this one. So hopefully you like that type of video, more of the business side of things. Listen, if you have your 10 guys, go ahead, list them in the description below, or anybody that you think I should be following or the people watching this video should be following to apply, you know, their principles into their own career, you know, or if they're trying to grow a business, whatever it may be. But end of the day, next week, we'll go ahead, be back with some more baseball, softball training content. So we'll catch you next week. Game rewards the grind. It knows how much you invested.